Minister, last night Dr Sam McGonkey on The Tonight Show reaffirmed the importance of a strong economy to maintain a strong public health system. COVID-19 is not going away anytime soon, and we must examine how the economy can coexist while not compromising the health of our citizens. The government's attempts to blame any further extension to the lockdown on the public for non-compliance, I think, is deeply unfair. The vast majority of the public understand their responsibilities. I think we have to start looking at how we can reopen sectors where social distance already exists. If you look at the example of garden centres, they are prevented from opening, yet still Lidl and Aldi continue to sell similar produce. Deeply unfair. The roadmap needs to be published to give certainty. Certain businesses will need time to make necessary changes, and we need to know what financial supports are going to be there for the businesses to make changes. Chambers Ireland said this morning that 1 in 4 businesses will need to spend €8,000 making the necessary modifications. Part of any roadmap must include a task force. A task force must be populated with expert membership that can advise on a sector-by-sector basis. Because, Minister, for every further week that government fails to act will require further subsidies in the long run and making it much harder for businesses to survive. And the announcements to date by government are simply inadequate. They're inadequate in terms of their structure and they're inadequate in terms of their size. 95% of government supports are reliant and based on businesses taking on further debt. And the uptake to date has been very slow. You mentioned figures in your own speech, Minister, and when you compare that to the number of people who are availing of the temporary wage subsidy, it is very, very low. What businesses are asked to do, businesses who have seen their turnover radically reduced or even eliminated, government is saying to them, take on further debt at 4.5%, while government themselves are currently borrowing at less than 1/4%. So we're trying to make 4.25% margin on the back of struggling businesses. You're going to have to look at what other European countries are doing, how they are availing of relaxed state aid rules to ensure that they directly inject liquidity into sustainable businesses. I want to ask about business interruption insurance policy. At an earlier briefing that I attended in your department, Minister, you indicated that you would be meeting the CEOs of the insurance companies. Has that happened? And if so, what was the response? What actions are you and the Finance Minister taking to ensure that legitimate policyholders who have business interruption insurance due to infectious diseases, that they are going to be received payout? A hairdresser was on a radio show the other day. There's no clear path to how she will reopen. There's no clear how she can conduct her business with maintaining social distance requirements. And yet still, insurance companies are expecting her to pay public liability insurance. A trade credit scheme, Minister. In my mind, this is a major impediment to the resumption of normal trade, because suppliers will be reluctant to offer credit under the current circumstances. I believe a government-backed trade credit system will be needed to ensure confidence is there. Both France and Germany have already made applications to the EU Commission to ensure that they can provide a government-backed trade credit scheme, and I wonder what our intentions are in relation to that. Commercial leases. Large institutional investors are putting the squeeze on businesses. What action are the government going to take to ensure this ceases? So to wrap up, Minister, can you say when will we have a clear roadmap? When will we have a task force? When will we review the penal conditions that are attached to the liquidity supports that are available from your department? Will we see grants? Will we see interest-free loans? Will you confirm about your meeting to the CEO of the insurance companies? And finally, will you commit to explore the introduction of a government-backed trade credit scheme?
Deputy